avian influenza because there is no vaccine for avian influenza.
Okay.
Now, because of the outcry of farmers that this particular disease is the one that is devastating our poultry, Naic said, okay, we will provide insurance for this, but at an additional premium.
Okay.
That is, you will pay more.
Okay.
Now, for a farmer, the additional premium for bird flu,
Yeah.
that bird flu is not an insured risk.
So if the birds die of
As a
bird
result of bird flu, it will not be paid.
Okay.
But any farmer that pays that additional premium, if the birds die as a result of bird flu, it will be paid. So that is how it works.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what of the farmlands now?
Now, the crop farm.
Crop farm.
For a crop farm, for example, there are certain things that are covered.
Okay.
Say, for example, flood, damage as a result of fire,
Okay.
windstorm, drought.
Okay.
But damage as a result of herdsmen invasion is not covered.
Oh. Even though that's a thing in this part of the world.
Now, again, it also follows like that of the poultry. That is the standard cover.
Okay.
But there is an extension
Extra.
for farmers that want extra and pay extra
Okay.
to get that damage covered. So the standard policy does not cover. But like you said, that particular risk is germane. And so what is Naic doing about it? Naic has gone ahead to design a policy at an additional cost.
Okay.
So a farmer that pays the normal premium without cover for herdmen, if there is a loss as a result of herdmen, will not enjoy compensation.
He will pay.
So you have to pay extra. So those are the insured and not insured risk. That's what I mean.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us a breakdown on that. At least now we know that certain things are covered and some are not covered.
Exactly.
But again, my question is, how do we sensitize? How does Naic sensitize these farmers? Because I'm aware that a couple of farmers might not be aware of this insurance scheme. I've asked that question, earlier, but we somehow escaped it. But how does Naic ensure that these farmers are aware? Do they do sensitizations? Do they do advocacy projects so that farmers are now aware that there's something that can cover for your losses? Because I'm sure if people are aware that all the loss is not, I don't incur all the losses myself, there's a body that can help to cover that. I'm sure a lot of people will get into farming. So what do you do to ensure that people are updated on this knowledge or about this knowledge?
Like, my sister, Nigeria is a very large country.
Yes, of course.
But Naic have tried to have branches in all the states.
Yes.
And so those our staff in all the states, part of what they do is most of these farmers are into groups, cooperative societies and other associations. Whenever they are having their meetings or their programs, our staff do visit them and sensitize them. That's one.
Okay.
Number two, like I said, most farmers that benefit from any form of agri intervention or credit support for agri production must insure with Naic.
Okay.
When these banks are disbursing, they usually call our staffs.
Okay.
There, the farmers come for their money, and again, they also get to know, talked about insurance.
Okay.
Again, Naic also does sensitization programs in various states across the geopolitical zone. So where farmer groups are gathered, you cannot gather all the farmers, but it is like tell one to tell another. So when you gather the farmers, you tell them about this insurance. They also go out to tell their colleagues. Mostly the leaders of the associations. We use them. We gather them. We talk to them about all aspects of insurance and how they can access Naic. And then they go out also to tell their members. So this way, this information are being shared. But again, it may not be enough. So we continue to do more.
More advocacy.
Yes.
All right. I like that part. It may not be enough. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on. And this is the Agropreneur segment where we get to talk about agricultural activities and practices as well. And today we have Dr. Emmanuel Peter. He is the managing director, who is the manager on the writing department of Naic. Used to the managing director, but he is the manager of underwriting department for Naic, and we're talking about agricultural insurance. I hope we've been learning a thing or two, but we'll be heading out on a very short break. When we get back, we'll keep up this conversation. Please do not go anywhere.
Nigeria is a country blessed with fertile ground, with our fields spread across the horizon. Are you ready to sow the seeds of success in agriculture? Introducing Agropreneur, your partner in pioneering accurate information on agricultural practices in Nigeria and beyond. Leading the way, innovating agriculture.
Thinking about a show with an extra little spice? Crack your ribs and banter till you tire.
I can tell you got big energy.
The Midday Extra is a mix of fun, entertainment, and sick jokes to keep you jiggy all day.
They'll do fine makeup, they'll even wear frontal.
Join Matha every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM for the Midday Extra show. Peace out.
Here at Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, still your radio experience you can count on. Now, a few more minutes until we wrap it up here in the studio. And of course, you know, it's the Agropreneur segment. And today we are hanging out with Dr. Emmanuel Peter, the manager of underwriting department from the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. Thank you so much, sir, for being here still.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's move on to other questions. Now, if a farmer suffers losses, how does a farmer get compensated? Because you said you've just told us about how Naic will provide coverage, or is it with the crops or is it with money? How do they get covered?
Now, a farmer that suffered losses is expected to, first of all, notify the corporation, notify Naic of the losses.
Okay.
Within 48 hours.
Ooh.
This is important because Naic officers will visit the farm to ascertain the existence of the loss and the extent of the damage.
Okay.
Now, if this is delayed, it may not be possible to see this evidence of losses.
Okay.
So, once a farmer notifies Naic, either through phone call or through writing or through visiting our offices, whichever easiest or fastest means, Naic officers will visit the farm and they will take report of the loss. Based on that, they will calculate the extent of the damage and what is due to the farmer. Now, when this is done, they will send a discharge voucher, which is like the cost estimate of what will be given to the farmer. So it will be sent to the farmer via mail, or so that the farmer can see it, and if the farmer agrees with it, the farmer will sign the voucher with a witness.
Okay.
That way, the farmer has accepted that payment is the full and final settlement for that loss. Okay. So once the farmer feels that, sent it back to Naic, Naic will make cash payment. That's transfer now to the account of the farmer. So that is how the compensation is done.
Are there no lapses? Usually there are certain lapses with the method of this payment, because 48 hours, just as 2 days. And after 48 hours, there'll be no conversation or talks about, paying back the farmer. Now, let's consider people from rural communities into this condition that is being put for getting their monies back. Some of them might not have access to the internet or phones or calls. How accessible is Naic to ensure that even people in these rural communities can access this compensation?
Now, the 48 hours we're talking about is in an ideal situation.
Okay.
But Naic is like a social scheme.
Okay.
It is intended to support the farmers. So Naic will not necessarily use technicalities to deny farmer that suffers genuine loss compensation. But this, what I said earlier, is in an ideal situation.
Okay.
Where a farmer cannot, for example, if a farm is flooded, sometimes it will even take 1 week for the flood water to recede.
Yeah,
So even if you go to the farm within that period, you won't even see anything. Or the farmer may not be able to access the farm at that particular period. So all these things are possible.
Okay.
So, but in an ideal situation, that is the standard
48 hours.
procedure. Yes.
But exceptions can.
But
be
exceptions
made.
can apply based on circumstances.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, your numbers, are they out there? Where people can access you directly?
Yeah, we have numbers on the internet.
On the internet.
On the internet.
So maybe you call your website before we get those, so that people can.
www.naic.gov.ng.
All right. So that people can be aware of
naic.gov.ng.
the NG. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Emmanuel. Now, the next question. I feel like I'm bombarding you with a lot of questions, but I mean, we need to get in-depth knowledge, or we need to analyze these things so that, again, this is a form of advocacy to everyone listening. Now, aside agricultural insurance, does Naic do any sort of insurance, or is just for agricultural products and for farmers?
Naic has the mandate, that is to do agric and general insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
Agric and general insurance. Okay.
That's insurance of cars, houses, machineries,
Okay.
and the rest. So Naic does that.
Okay.
And the agric insurance, like I said, is across the value chain.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Now, who is qualified to take Naic cover?
Oh, it's for everybody.
Everybody, no exceptions.
No exception. Smallholder farmers, large-scale farmers, either as individual or as group. Even a farmer that have an investment as low as 100,000 can get Naic cover.
Okay. All right. Let me also ask, what aspect of subsidy does Naic offer to farmers generally?
Generally, is the premium subsidy,
Okay.
where the farmer is given subsidy of up to 50%
Okay.
of the premium he is expected to pay.
Okay.
That is, a farmer that is expected to pay 100,000, for example. Naic only collects 50,000 from the farmer, while government pays on behalf of the farmer the balance of 50%.
Okay. So that is
the
subsidy.
Yes.
So what other thing do you think we need to know? Okay, maybe we'll take a few calls and then we'll just keep with the questions. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome and thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right.
My name is Dr. Chris.
Oh.
I want to talk about what the other doctor from Naic,
Dr. Emmanuel is his name.
Dr. Emmanuel.
Yes.
I'm also into agric insurance.
Okay.
I'm the head for KBL Insurance.
All right. Let's
So,
hear you.
I want to appreciate him a lot, and to, in this part of the world, agric insurance hasn't done so well in terms of penetration. When you talk about some developed societies, for instance, in the United States, agric insurance, the penetration is in excess of 12%.
Okay.
There are some countries, for instance, in Luxembourg, their penetration is almost 30-something percent, and at some point 40-something percent. However, in Nigeria here, it's just 0.4%,
Okay.
which it calls a lot for a lot to be done in terms of agric insurance. A lot of collaboration, a lot of partnership, a lot of awareness, a lot of inclusivity,
Okay.
both in the rural areas where a lot of this agric is done. Okay, and even in terms of finance, where many of these agric insurance is done by extension. Okay, and the last time there was when there was anchor borrowers scheme, there were a bit of challenges here and there. So we need to come together and have a way to harmonize on these things in order to ensure that our agriculture becomes sustainable by provision of these agricultural insurance policies that are tailor-made and suitable for these farmers, and in such a way that it will not also kill the companies, because we know that agri insurance is a highly volatile class of insurance. So we need to have a way to, partner together to ensure this. I really appreciate the man there, Dr. Emmanuel, my colleague.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. James, for that contribution there. I mean, it made a lot of sense. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, Naic is willing to partner with other insurance companies to grow the industry.
Okay.
So we welcome them.
Okay.
Like he said during the Anchor Bora program.
Yeah.
Other insurance companies were invited and they participated.
Okay.
Because of the volume of the risk involved.
Okay.
So Naic is still willing to work with other insurance companies based on the terms and conditions that will be agreed by the parties.
Okay. Now he has highlighted, quite a number of data about how lagging we are here in this part of the country, or in Nigeria generally, in this part of the world rather, as regards agriculture and insurance. And we know that there are certain challenges that these insurance companies might be facing. Can you highlight some of the challenges that Naic is currently facing and what they're doing to address these challenges?
Now, the challenge or the penetration, that's the low penetration of insurance in Nigeria is insurance generally. It's not specific to agri insurance.
Yes.
And I think it is based on perception.
Okay.
Now, perception in this part of the world where people have this feeling or mindset that maybe insurance company will not compensate them when they suffer the loss, or if they suffer the loss,
take a lot of
time or a lot of excuses, or insurance companies give of why they will not pay and the rest. So I think the mindset of the people, there's a lot of sensitization that needs to be done to make the people understand the importance of insurance, especially agriculture, because like he said, it's very volatile. So people need to be sensitized on why insurance is necessary. And again, the insurance companies too need to be up and doing. They have to show commitment of that and show capacity that when there is loss, there has to be evidence that insurance companies will be up and doing. And insurance companies should also go as far as, like they do in other parts of the world, advertising these insurance payouts. Like when there is loss and insurance company has to pay, they should make it on air, public, so that people will be sure that insurance companies are paying. So this way, it will create awareness, and more people will want to come and experience the good of the insurance companies.
All right. True that we need to do some level of sensitization.
Exactly.
But again, we cannot deny the fact that it takes a lot of time sometimes for these insurance companies to meet their part of the obligation, to pay the monies, like you said. Some insurance companies take a lot of time. And some people, again, their fears will be what you also mentioned, that they'd look for ways as much as possible not to meet their financial obligation. We cannot deny the fact that happens in some of these insurance companies as well. So, but let me know what Naic's time frame would be, for payment of these losses.
Now, like I said, insurance involves documentation.
Okay.
First of all, the farmer is expected to notify the insurance company. Now, a farmer that suffers a loss and it takes the farmer 2 months to notify the insurance company, means the farmer has already lost 2 months behind time, which is supposed to get compensation. Again, other things may be required of the farmer to substantiate the claim. For example, a poultry farmer that suffers a loss is expected to take picture of the dead birds to show that the birds actually died. Okay. The farmer is supposed to have a farm record where he is taking daily stock of the birds. Now, those farm records will show the extent of losses as a result of mortality suffered daily by the farm. The farmer is also expected to have a postmortem report from a veterinary doctor to show what kills the bird. Now, these are some of the documentation required of the farmer. So, from farmers, if you ask them to go and bring, for example, the record of the mortality, some don't even have record. And again, at inception of the policy, they have been sensitized of this requirement. So, without this mortality record, it will be difficult for the insurance company to determine the number of birds that died and the extent of mortality. Again, without the pictures. Again, if it takes too long for you to visit the farm, you may not, if you go, you may not even see the dead birds.
My question here is, do we really factor in the farmers from the rural communities? Because some of these requirements or some of these obligations are things that people in the rural communities might not be able to meet up with. So how do you ensure that there's an integration, or a consideration of people or these farmers in rural community? How do you consider them into these requirements? Because of a truth, some of them might not be able to write. Some of them might not be able to keep these records. Some of them might not even have the digital device to be able to take pictures of these mortalities that occur in the farm. So what are the measures or the strategies you've put in place to ensure that these people are not ignored because of their inability to fulfill this obligation?
Now, for a poultry farmer, most of the poultry farmer that you feel maybe they are in the villages or that they are
not educated,
you'll be surprised of the information they know and they have. Because in these villages we have people, maybe veterinary doctors that attend to these birds. So those veterinary doctors that attend to the birds, because no farmer will invest into poultry production without having a backup, whether if there is loss or diseases. And some of these birds have to be vaccinated because these diseases are endemic in this country. So if there is no vaccination, no medication, the birds will certainly die. And these are part of our condition. For us to provide insurance, you're supposed to put these things in place. So at inception, they know what is required of them. They have been sensitized already. So when there is loss too, they are expected to provide those things. And again, like I said, we visit the farm too for post-loss inspection. So where we also detail all these things and tell them the time frame. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for clearing us on all of this. And thank you too for everyone who has been listening to this conversation. Agricultural insurance is a thing. And it is as important as you insuring your house, insuring your car, or any property whatsoever. These things are put in place to ensure that farmers are being encouraged, to farm, either small scale or large scale. There's a benefit in farming. So some of these things are put in place, of course, to ensure that your interest is protected as regards your agri-business. I hope that we picked a thing or two from this conversation. However, if you missed out on the entire conversation, you can head on to our YouTube page at Eagles FM Abuja and catch up with this episode on Facebook. You can also rewatch the episode at eaglesfm.com. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, which is now X, of course, and across all other social media platforms at Eagles FM Abuja, so that you can keep the conversations running as well. Now, thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel Peter, and yes, he is the manager on the writing department of the Nigerian agriculture. All right, he is the manager of on the writing department of the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. Thank you so much for taking our time to be here with us, sir.
It's my pleasure.
All right, people. We'll see you in the next hour. There, we're having